This is what his vocal sounds like right now.
Any mistakes? I can't even look at myself without feeling ashamed.
And this is how it will sound after the exact list of effects I use for my clients.
I'm stressed out. I'm not alone in this bad. They don't last. And if you're with me, you walk the wrong path.
We're going way beyond just reverb and delay today. I'm Jackson with Summit Mixing, and today I'm breaking down the top 7 specialty effects I use on clients' mixes that have earned me 150 plus 5-star reviews. And I'll be going through them from the most basic to the most premium sounding, starting with number 7, vocal doubling.
Issues, got plenty of them I struggle with. Stress, fear, and anger, what I'm covered in. Cause some issues, got plenty of them I struggle with. Stress, fear, and anger, what I'm covered in. Cause
vocal doubling is having multiple vocals say a line together for emphasis or rhythm. The best way to do this is by recording your emphasis vocals. But if you didn't do that or you just don't feel like whipping the mic back out, here's how I do convincing vocal double effects. So method A is using only stock plugins, and here's how you do that. So today we're going to be using, yet again, just like my last video, we're using Corey the Cool's vocals, shout out to Corey, in his latest rap song. And we're going to take this line right here. All you got to do is click the vocal track, click just beneath it, make sure they're timed up roughly correctly. And then if you right click this little corner, and then click Make Unique, it makes it a new track. Now you're going to go into your mixer track. I've got my main vocal already set up here. We're going to make a new one called Emphasis Vocal. You're going to double click your vocal duplicate track and you're going to route it into your emphasis vocal track. When it comes to actually mixing that vocal, you're going to mix it like you would the normal vocal or the main vocal, but we're going to add a few more things towards the end. So I've already gone ahead and mixed it kind of how I would normally for a backing vocal, but the things that you want to add that's different from the main vocal is in the EQ here. What I like to do is I take all these high treble frequencies and I decrease them. Not a whole lot. I usually kind of make this slope sharp. It makes the vocals feel a little further back in the mix to me when you can't hear those high breathy frequencies. The second thing I like to do is add a chorus effect. So I'm going to add fruity chorus. All the default settings are usually good with me. I just drag this knob down so that it's a subtle effect. The higher you turn the knob up, it's going to sound like more vocals are present. The more you turn the knob down, it's going to sound more like one main vocal adding emphasis. I recommend going about maybe 50% chorus to start and then adjusting from there. Now I like to mute the duplicate track and then listen through and just kind of chop together the parts where I want the emphasis vocals to come in, because you don't want them present throughout the entire performance. I'm going to mute the rest of the parts that I don't want present in the emphasis vocal. Go ahead and play it and just see how that sounds.
I can't even look at myself without feeling ashamed. I'm a mess, I'm a fraud, and I'm probably insane, but could you...
So it doesn't sound like much right now, so I'm going to turn it up and I'm going to crank the chorus. So what I noticed is it sounded too much the same as the main vocal. So what I like to do is you can highlight all the vocals and just kind of shift them either backwards a bit or forwards a bit. And that creates kind of a more unique feel and sound to that backing vocal, so it doesn't sound like just a replica of the original performance.
Without feeling ashamed. I'm a mess, I'm a fraud, and I'm probably insane, but could you throw a bit of happiness and send it my way?
And that's how I like to do duplicate vocals using only stock plugins. Method B for this is using a vocal doubler plugin, and here's how we do that. So for this, I like to pick a random mixer track. I like to right click it and dock it to the left. As you can see, I've got a couple other things from the mix previously, but I'm going to rename this one Vocal Doubles. In here, I use a vocal doubler plugin called Doubler for Stereo. And my favorite preset in here is under Ross Hogarth. Not sure who that is. Doubler 2. And right here, these little dots are all different vocals that will be present in the vocal doubler. So I like to drag them and kind of create a little more separation to make it really feel like there's a lot of vocals at play here. I like to level off this little EQ here. I don't want it to add any more breathiness or boominess to the vocals. But the backing vocals do tend to have some more boominess, so it may be a good idea to cut some of those low frequencies for you. Now you don't even need a new mixer track for your vocals. You can route your main vocal bus directly into this vocal doubler mixer track in order to create this vocal doubling effect. I go to my main vocal mixer track and I route it into the vocal doubler, just like that. I highlight where I want the vocal doubler to be present, go back to my mixer track, my main vocal bus, drag the little circle that appeared here all the way down, right-click it, and click Create Automation Clip. There's our automation clip. And basically, I'm gonna right-click in here to start dragging dots and lines. And this line shows how much of the main vocal is being sent into the vocal doubler plugin. I'm gonna click it so that the amount being sent goes up when I want the vocal doubles present, and it cuts back out when I no longer want the doubles there. Let's hear how it sounds just like that.
Without feeling ashamed, I'm a mess, I'm a fraud, and I'm probably
insane should have one. I want a different amount of this take to be sent to the vocal doubler, so I'm going to right-click this corner, click Make Unique, and now I can edit this one independent of the first one we added. Tighten it up, and now we can hear how that sounds.
Without feeling ashamed, I'm a mess, I'm a fraud, and I'm probably insane, but could you...
Now, instead of making a bunch of new automation graphs, if you want it to be longer than what you originally created, you can click the slice tool, hold Shift, click in the middle of it, and then drag the end to as far as you want your main vocal being doubled. Here's what we're left with.
I can't even look at myself without feeling ashamed. I'm a mess, I'm a fraud, and I'm probably insane, but could you throw a bit of happiness and send it my way, cause I need it.
So now that we've added some emphasis and rhythm to the vocals, let's take it up a notch by adding some serious depth to the emotional transition points of the song. Number 6 is the echo out.
Tell me what's the price of peace, price of peace. Tell me what's the price of peace, price of peace.
So the echo out is where you either sing a long note, or you're yelling something, or you're just transitioning from verse to chorus, and you want the vocal to sound like it's dropping out or fading away. So there's 3 levels of the echo out that when you stack them, I think creates an incredible effect. So level 1 is adding big echo. So to start, you're gonna wanna click a random mixer track, right-click it, go to Dock 2 and dock it to the right. You're gonna right-click that and rename it Big Echo. Now I've already done that here with everything I need, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one. As you can see, I've got a bunch of other things that I've done in the mix previously over here, but we're just gonna focus on the big echo for right now. And what you add to this mixer track is reverb with the preset setting Large Hall. Once that boots up, you're gonna wanna drag the dry knob all the way down. Now you're gonna wanna go to the vocal where, like I said, you're either singing a long note, you're yelling something, or you're transitioning into a new part of the song. For me, I wanted to add emotional emphasis to this part of the song that we've already heard and added vocal doubles to.
Throw a bit of happiness and send it my way, cause
Send it my way, cause I want that ending to kind of ring out and echo out in the song. So I'm gonna highlight that part by again holding Command or Control, clicking and dragging on the timeline, then going into my mixer track, going to my main vocal bus, routing it to the big echo by clicking that little arrow there. I've already done that. Just like when we automated the vocal doubles, you're gonna wanna drag that circle knob all the way down so we're not sending any of the main vocal to it just yet. Right-click it, and then click Create Automation Clip. Now we can see our big echo automation clip here. And what I like to do is slowly send vocal signal into the big echo effect. I just right-click kinda high towards the end here, make sure that last word is the loudest and has the most signal being sent to it. And I like it to kind of ramp up, so you can click that middle knob, raise it to make it ramp into the amount of signal you're sending into the big echo. So let's hear how that sounds.
and I'm probably insane, but could you throw a bit of happiness and send it my way, cause I need it.
This is what the one looked like for the official mix that I did. So phase 2 of the echo out that I like to stack with that is adding delay. You're gonna do pretty much all the same steps we did before, where you find a mixer track, right click it, and dock it to the right. This one, you're gonna call delay. As you can see, again, I've already got that here for the mix. You're gonna add Fruity Delay 3, and I typically like to set this time knob down to this second knob. This is just gonna be strictly personal preference, what you like the sound of, but I want this to echo out and have a lot of fast echoes. So the lower you pull this knob down, the faster the echoes are gonna happen. The higher you pull the knob up, the slower the echoes are gonna happen. This level knob is how many echoes there are. So I set my time knob to right here about this second dial. Yet again, I go to my main vocal bus, I route it to the delay. This knob will be turned up, so I turn it all the way down, right click it, create an automation clip. Now, be careful you don't make the mistake that I just did, where you don't go and highlight the timeline first where you want the delay to hit. because otherwise it will add a very long, very large automation clip throughout the whole song. I'm going to highlight just the part where I want the delay to hit on the timeline, then go back to the delay circle knob down here, right-click it, create an automation clip, and now it's just going to automate right there. So here's a little pro tip that I like to use when I want the exact same automation clip from the big echo to be in my delay automation clip. I right-click this corner, I go to Articulator Tools, Copy State. I go to the top right corner of the delay automation, Articulator Tools, Paste State. Now they are identical and they're doing the exact same thing, routing the exact same amount of vocal into both the big echo and the delay. So let's hear how that sounds now.
Throw a bit of happiness and send it my way, cause I need it, been going off the deep end.
As you can see, it just makes those vocals ring out in a really emotionally impactful way. The third phase of the echo out is adding a slight volume fade. I'm going to take you to a part of the song where I've added all three elements: the big echo, the delay, and the volume fade out.
Rather say goodbye to the life that I once had and never have to look back, never have to.
So as you can see, I've got the vocal being sent to big echo, being sent to delay, and then I've got this extra automation clip here. What that's doing is it's quieting the vocal ever so slightly as the reverb and the delay are swelling. When you do that, the effects continue to rise while the main vocal signal kind of decreases, making it feel like the vocal is moving further back into the distance. Here's how I do that. Again, highlight the part where you want the vocal to slowly fade back, go into your mixer track, go to your main vocal bus, and it's going to be routed automatically to the master with this little circle knob. You're going to right-click it, create an automation clip, and then towards the end of the vocal clip you want to fade back, you're going to right-click and make it just a slight downward slope. I'll mute the one that I did originally, but I want you to hear what it sounds like if you do too much.
Rather say goodbye to the life that I once had and never have to look back, never have to.
Could still sound cool. It could really sound like the vocal's fading away, but you don't want to go too hard for it and lose vocal presence where there should be some. Again, this is mostly personal preference, so you can dial back how much you want that vocal to feel way in the distance. So we've hit those hard emotional points in the song. Let's tackle another way to catch the listener's attention. Number 5 is the record scratch beat cut.
I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart, seasick. I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart.
Look, a normal beat cut's cool, but we want to sound premium. Here's how I take a beat cut to the next level. So I've got the part of the track highlighted around the beat cut. In the instrumental or beat mixer track, in slot 1, I'm going to add gross beat. Now, while this is built into FL Studio, you do have to pay for it, just as a heads up. But it is well worth the investment. Not just because you can do record scratches, but because you can do things like this.
Anytime I open my heart up, I only heard it. Cause I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart up, I only heard it. Cause I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart up, I only heard it. Cause I wanted.
Some of those things didn't sound great, but kind of a cool tool to have in your tool belt. Anyways, when you first open it up, it's going to be a blank slate like this, and you're going to kind of want to watch the timeline as you play it to see where the beat drops off in here in the plugin.
I wanted love, but really do I deserve it?
It cuts off right about there, so I'm going to want the beat to cut out right before it cuts off. So I add a point, let's say right here, by right-clicking just like we do in automation clip, and then I'm going to click right where the beat cuts off a little bit below that line. I'm going to right-click that line again and click single curve. You're going to drag this little knob in the middle up so that it fades out, and then do one more click right above it and drag it all the way up. And then you can go ahead and kind of hear how that sounds.
I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart up, I only heard it.
I'm going to drag this down a little closer so it's like a pretty quick, sudden fade out.
I wanted love, but really do I deserve it?
That sounds pretty good, and you can adjust how hard or how quickly it fades out by dragging this knob up and down.
I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart up, I only heard it. Cause I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open.
I found the more subtle you make the fade out, the better it usually sounds. So once you've got the fade out, kind of where you like it, how quick you want it, how steep the fade out is, you're only going to want gross beat to be active during that part of the song. So much like with all the other effects we've automated, you go into the timeline and have it automated where you want the beat to have the record scratch out, go to gross beat, turn the knob all the way down, right-click it, and create another automation clip. And then just click so that it's present for the one beat cut, and then it fades out right after.
I wanted love, but really do I deserve it? Cause anytime I open my heart up, I only hurt it.
Let's move on to number 4, low or high octave vocal doubling.
So bad they don't last, and if you're with me, you walk the wrong path. I'm a bad guy, at least looking through my eyes. Can't so bad they don't last, and if you're with me, you walk the wrong path. I'm a bad guy, at least looking through my eyes. Can't trust anyone.
This is where we double, then pitch the vocal up or down in tasteful locations to give it either a darker emphasis or a lighter flare. The most common use of this effect in most music is doing a lower octave vocal double. Here's how I do that. I'm going to use this part of the vocal here.
Don't last, and if you're with me, you walk the wrong path.
I feel like the part, if you're with me, you walk the wrong path, could use that lower, darker octave vocal emphasis. So I'm going to find that part of the vocal. I'm going to use the splitter tool to chop it out. I'm going to click it, click above it, creates a double. We're going to line it up, right click the corner, click Make Unique, and in my mixer track, I'm going to make a new track for it. I'm going to call this Low Double. Then I'm going to route my vocal to the low double. Again, you're going to kind of mix this like you would a normal vocal. I'm going to add some compression and then some EQ. Then you're going to take your vocal double click it, drag pitch all the way down. And now I'm going to kind of frequency sweep through this low octave vocal just to make sure there are no frequencies kind of poking out or hurting my ears too much that are too present. All right, I got it sounding about how I like it, so here's how that sounds.
Even good things go bad, they don't last, and if you're with me, you walk the wrong path.
You can actually do the same thing but with a higher pitched vocal too.
Bad guy, at least looking through my eyes.
Copy that part of the vocal, put it up here, click Make Unique, double click, raise the pitch all the way up, compress it. And the EQ, I'm going to cut a lot of those bassy frequencies because this is a higher pitched vocal. Again, I'm just going to sweep through to make sure there's no frequencies that are just too present in that vocal. And don't forget, anytime you're making a vocal double, you're still going to want to add a de-esser so that those S's aren't poking out in the backing vocals instead of the main vocal. Another pro tip with the high pitched vocal is if you double click it and you change mode here to mono, it gives it this weird sound as if the vocalist or you recorded the song singing it higher pitched. Here's how that sounds right off the bat.
At least looking through my eyes.
Sounds a little different, and sometimes adding a little bit of chorus here can sound good as well. I find adding that as a very subtle layer to the background of the chorus can give it a little bit of a sparkle. Now, the last 4 effects we covered have instantly leveled up my clients' songs in the past, but we are now to my top 3 favorite specialty effects. Number 3 is self-harmonizing.
Never have to look back, never have to lie, never have to feel like I'm... Never have to look back, never have to lie, never have to feel like I'm dying inside that pain.
This is where we duplicate the vocal and use a software like Melodyne to pitch it up or down to create a harmony. Much like your vocal doubles, your best bet is to actually record your harmonies. But here's how I add them, even if all I've got to work with is the main vocal recording. So luckily in this rap song, Corey actually does have a singing part for us to do some nice vocal harmonies. You're going to basically follow the exact same steps we did to do vocal doubles using stock plugins, but we're going to add an extra element of pitch correction to it to create the harmonies. So click the vocal, click beneath it, line it up a little behind to make it sound like it's a separate vocal, right-click the corner, make it unique. Let's create a new mixer track for it and call it Vocal Harmonies. Or you can go ahead and use the emphasis vocal mixer track you already made if you were using the stock FL plugin mode of creating vocal doubles. That's what I'm going to do, so I'm going to route this into that emphasis vocal track where I already have some vocal mixing done, plus the EQ where we cut some of the high frequencies out, and the chorus that we added at the end to make it feel like it's more vocals. And I'm going to add Melodyne. If you use other pitch correction tools, manual pitch correction tools like Auto-Tune Pro manual version, or even the pitch correction tool built into FL Studio, New Tone, it'll all work the same. I'm going to select just around those vocals, and I'm going to click Transfer in the corner of Melodyne and import the vocals. And then on top of that, I like to add some auto-tune to the backing vocals just because you don't hear them as heavily, so it's less noticeable if there's auto-tune fragmenting in it. All right, I'm just going to work through this bar by bar. First, I like to cut everything up that looks like it's, 2 notes combined into one blob in Melodyne. Then I select everything, make sure I'm in the right key, which I am not, and then make sure the pitch adjustment tool is selected, double click all the vocals, click and hold, drag down to pitch modulation, and make it 85% instead. This is going to really smooth out the vocals and make sure everything is on key. So a good way to do this is select a good portion of the vocals to test out.
Never have to look back, never have to
Start with just that first stanza. We're going to drag up once, twice, just to hear how that sounds.
Never have to look back, never have to
That's not bad. You can just kind of play around with it. Go up one more, see what happens.
Never have to look back, never have to lie.
Or if you're not liking how that's sounding, you right-click it, restore original pitch center, double-click it again, and then drag it down a couple times.
Never have to look back, never have to lie. Never have to look back, never have to lie.
Again, this is going to come down to personal preference and just playing around and experimenting with it. I kind of like this, so we'll rock with it.
Never have to look back, never have to lie. Never have to look back, never have to lie. To feel like I'm dying inside that pain. You never have to feel like I'm dying inside that pain. You never have to feel like I'm dying inside that.
And now I like these harmonies, but I don't want any other vocal doubles here, so I'm just going to delete them. And here's roughly kind of what we got for this part.
Never have to look back, never have to lie. Never have to feel like I'm dying inside. That pain is a part of me, part of my soul.
We just harmonize with the vocal without re-recording anything. So with angelic vocals perfectly harmonized, let's build some anticipation for those vocals with number 2, vocal stutters.
I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda how I feel now. Stressed out. I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda how I feel now.
So there's 3 different ways to tackle these vocal stutters, each a little more difficult, but each sounding a little bit better than the last. So the first way is the single repeated line. So with vocal stutters, you're usually going to want to find a spot in the song where there's a large gap between lines. So for me, that's right here.
Got many options, stressed out. I'm not alone.
So I'm going to take the start of the next line after the large gap, click it, click below it, line it up perfectly, and now I'm going to drag it out a little bit and drag it about, 4 bars away. Just go ahead and play to hear how that sounds.
Stressed out. I'm not alone in this world, but this kind of
Already sounds kind of cool, but we can take it a step further by clicking that top corner, clicking Make Unique, going to a mixer track, calling this vocal stutter. Again, you're going to want to do your usual vocal mixing stuff like compression, de-essing, all that kind of stuff. Here's the difference. With EQing this vocal, it usually sounds best if you go into the presets and you go to Old Telephone. I like to add a little more low end, cut a little more of that high end, drag that 5 over. We're going to route that into our new vocal stutter mixer track. Let's just hear how it sounds like that.
stressed out. I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda how I feel now.
You can take it a step even further by automating the volume to slowly increase as we're approaching that line.
I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda. I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda. I'm not.
Or another cool effect to lead into the vocal is you take this 7 knob, drag it really far over here, click this little blue circle here, right click it, click Create Automation Clip, make it start right at the beginning and end at the end of your vocal double, and then raise it to about there. You'll see here what that does. Gives it kind of a cool sweeping sound to lead into the next vocal.
Stressed out. I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda how I feel now.
That's version 1. Version 2, more commonly, is the multi-quick stutter. I'm going to keep a hold of that EQ effect that we made. For now, I'm just going to mute it. And we just want kind of the beginning of that vocal chop. I'm going to duplicate it, make sure they line up, drag it back.
I'm not alone.
Drag them out a little further. Let's hear how this one's going to sound. I'll even unmute this EQ effect that we did before so we can hear how that affects it.
I'm not alone in this world, but that's kinda how. I'm not alone in this world.
Now, if we add one more little stutter step here where we cut this in half, duplicate it, line it up and drag it back one more, here's how that sounds.
I'm not alone.
So we automated the EQ frequency sweep. Go into here, in your vocal stutter track, pan it fairly hard left, right click, and create automation clip. You kind of want to have it pretty much right in between your chops. Have it start in the left ear with the first chop, have it move into the right ear with the second chop, and then the third chop should be back in the right ear, so it's kind of bouncing back and forth between the ears. If you're wearing headphones, you may be able to hear this, but here's how this effect will sound.
And stressed out. I'm not alone in this world. I'm not alone in this world, but this.
I'm gonna add one more.
And stressed out. I'm not alone in this world. And stressed out. I'm not alone in this world.
And that's how I add vocal stutters, which in combination with my #1 favorite specialty effect sounds so cool.
Blame if I wreck another handout. All me, I'm the reason for my downfall. Who am I to blame if I wreck another handout? All me, I'm the reason for my downfall.
This is an effect you can actually accomplish using entirely stock plugins. And if you combine it with any one of the previous effects, I think it adds this incredible level of polish. My favorite places to use this are transitioning into the chorus from the verse, or like I do the vocal stutters anytime there's a large gap between lines. We're just going to use the same line I did the vocal stutters with. So the way to create a vocal riser is you double click the vocal, you're going to right click the audio clip down here, edit in audio editor, make it full screen. You're going to take the beginning of that audio clip. All right, I'm going to highlight everything before it and delete it, and highlight everything behind it, delete it. I'm just going to find the beginning sound of that line. Delete that, and I'm going to delete all of this. Then I just have that first word of the bar. I'm going to hold Option or Control if you're on Windows, and then left arrow. That's going to reverse it. Then we're going to click this little button up here. Make sure the dry knob is all the way down and hit accept. Drag this out, and that's going to add a bunch of reverb to your reversed recording. Hold Option or Control, then left arrow again. Click this button to normalize the audio, and select all of this dead space. We'll go ahead and delete that. Go out of full screen from the window, click this little arrow with the page, click and drag onto the timeline. Gonna move our vocal stutter out of the way for now, and you're gonna have the riser basically go right up to that first word until it's at its loudest point. You want the loudest point to be hitting the start of that first line. We're gonna drag the end here and kind of fade it in just like that. And here's how it sounds without any mixing.
I'm not alone in this world, but this
obviously it still needs some work, so we're going to create a mixer track for it. I have one already made here called Vocal Riser. I'm going to drag it into the Vocal Riser, and in Vocal Riser I've got auto-tune on it so that it sounds like it's within the key of the song. And then I've got an EQ on it that cuts a lot of the low ends and brings out a lot more of the high ends of that vocal. And then typically I'll even route the vocal riser into some big spacious reverb or even delay. Let's hear how it sounds now with the proper volume and EQ work done.
Option stressed out. I'm not alone in this world, but that's kind of how I feel now.
Now you can even combine it with your vocal stutters for a really cool effect.
Option stressed out. I'm not alone in this world.
All right, so those were my top 7 specialty vocal effects I use on my clients' songs to give them that premium sound. Now, please keep in mind you can overdo it. I do not recommend you use each and every one of these effects in your song unless you're going for kind of a scattered, glitchy feel. So if you found any of this valuable and you want to hear what your vocals would sound like professionally mixed completely for free, I've got a gift for you. First link in the description will take you there. It's totally optional. I cannot wait to hear you on the radio someday.